Hi kiddos, so this is the test that you took yesterday. So the points, number 1 had 6, 2, 1, 1 on the first page. The second page, 6, 2, 2, and the last two questions had A, B, C, so 3 points and 3 points. What I want you to do is check your points, and if you did not get these all correctly, I want you to grab a white line piece of paper, because anything that you did wrong, I want you to do it correctly on this piece of paper. So let's say you missed number 1, you would here put number 1 and redo the problems that you did wrong so that you get them right. So the first question, 9 times 2/5, I just did 2/5 9 times, which was 18/5. So 18/5 was the correct answer, or 3 3/5 was the correct answer. 72 times 3/8, I did a ratio table for this. You could have done another strategy. 72 over 1, and half of 1, half of 72, 36. Half of that is a fourth, which is 18, and half of that is an eighth, which is 9. And it's 3/8, so it's 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8, or 9 plus 9 plus 9, so 27 is the correct answer. Or you could have done 72 times 3 over 8. This one, 21 times 5, I just did 21 times 5, 105 over 7. And 7 times 15 is 105, so the answer is 15, or 105 over 7. So if you did not get 6 points, you need to redo these on a piece of white line paper, neatly please. Laura had a toy robot collection. 4 7s have heard 28 robots make noise. How many of Laura's robots make noise? Show your work. So I want 4 7s of 28. 4 7s times 28 is 112 over 7. Now we know 105 over 7 is 15, so this is 16. And then I wanted to do it a different way, and I thought, well, what's 1/7 of 28, right? We know that 1/7 of 28, if you divide 28 by 7, you get 4. So 4 7s would be 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, or 4 times 4, so 16. So I showed it 2 different ways of how to do that. Number 3 had 1 point for A and 1 point for B. So assuming that the number under the spill is greater than 0, fill in the bubble to show what John should be able to tell. So what I did is I actually started with B, and I said, okay, let's pretend the number's 1. 7/4 times 1 is 7/4, okay? Then try it here. 7/4 times 2 is 14/4, which is also 3 and a half. And 7/4 times 3 is 21/4. So I tried 3 different numbers greater than 0. Now I went back. Is the answer will be more than 7/4? Well, no, not right here. This isn't more than, it's the same, so I put no. The answer will be greater than the ketchup covered number. Well, 7/4 is more than 1. 14/4 is more than 2. It's 3. 21/4 is more than 3, so I put yes. The answer will be a fraction? No, these are mixed numbers. I mean, no. The answer will be less? No. So the only one that makes sense, and as far as how do you know, I would just, many of you wrote that you explained that you tried different numbers, and each time you tried it, that's how you got the answer. All right, next one. Number 4 is worth 6 points. Kind of tricky, I'll tell you why. So I've looked for the answers. Obviously, 4 times 2 is 8, 5 times 7 is 35. When you multiply, you go straight across. 8 35ths, 10 18ths, 2 times 5 is 10, 3 times 6 is 18. Some of you reduced it to 5 9ths, and 25 36. Then it said, use numbers or label sketches to show how you got your answers. You can use the rectangular arrays below if you want. So if you didn't use these, you needed to show something else. So I basically did, okay, 4/5, here's 4 out of 5, 4/5. 2 7s is ways divided into 7, 2, made your rectangle, and you get 8 out of 35 squares. Same thing here. This is divided into thirds. Here's 2/3. This is divided into 6. Here's 5 of the 6. You make your rectangle. and 10 out of 18 are colored in. And 5, 6 times 5, 6 is going to be a square. And so to get 6 points, you needed to show how you got your answer. Okay, this is worth 2 points. Rose lives 3/4 of a mile from her cousin. One day she rode her bike to her cousin's house. When she got 2/5 of the way there, her bike broke down and she had to walk the rest of the way. What part of a mile did she go on her bike before it broke? Show all of your work and then write an equation to show the answer. So here's Rose's house, here's her cousin's house. It's 3/4 of a mile. She was 2/5 of the way when it broke down. So 2/5 of 3/4, and you know that of means multiply, is 6/10. So some of you, 6/20, if you said 6/20 is correct, or 3/10 of a mile. So then I went back and I said, go back, you have to show your work. I did that, write an equation. I didn't do that. So 2/5 times 3/4 equals 6/10. And I drew an arrow showing here's my equation so that I could get both points. Okay, Jade says that 8 divided by 1/2 means the same thing as 1/2 of 8. So the answer is 4. Do you agree with her? Why or why not use numbers, labeled sketches, or words to explain your thinking? So I wrote 8 divided by 1/2 is 16, and 1/2 of 8 is 4. So no, they are not the same. If I have 8 cups of juice, I spelled juice wrong, and divided them into halves, now I would have 16 halves. If I asked for half of my friend's 8 M&Ms, I'd have 4 M&Ms. So they're not the same at all. Okay, again, if you missed number 6 on the piece of paper, write number 6 and do it correctly, please. Number 7, this is worth 3 points. There is 1/3 of a pan of cornbread left. 4 children are going to share it. Remember these sharing problems. What fraction of a whole pan of cornbread will each child get? Well, they have 1/3 of it, and it's going to be shared, divided by 4. So 1/3 divided by 4. So I drew the pan and I divided it into thirds, and then I did fourths for the 4 kids, and 1 kid would get 1 of those pieces, which is 1/12. And I also did the equation, and then I wrote 1/12 here. So this is a point, my work is a point, and the answer is a point. If you missed it, write number 7 over here and do it correctly so that you get all 3 points. It takes 1/2 cup of sugar to make a batch of pancakes. Curtis has 5 cups. Oh, I'm sorry, that would be a very sweet pancake. It takes 1/2 cup of flour to make a batch of pancakes. Curtis has 5 cups of flour. How many batches of pancakes can he make? Well, he has 5 cups, and if you divide them into half, when you divide them into half, that's how many batches you can make, because it takes 1/2 cup for each to make a flour to make each batch. So I just drew, here's my 5 cups. I split them in half. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So it would be 10 batches. This is batch 1, batch 2, batch 3, batch 4, batch 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 5 divided by 1/2 is the same thing as 5 times 2/1. Remember, and you change it to multiplication and you do the reciprocal here, which is 10/1, and 10/1 is 10. All right, so please fix your tests. Now, when you have that done, I want you to staple your work from the lined piece of paper to your test. I want to see your new work to make sure that you have complete understanding and are able to do it correctly. Once you have that, please give me your packet of work and then get a poetry book. And in a few minutes, Mrs. Crawford's math group is going to come over and we're going to play Kahoot. But first we need to get this done. All right, work hard. Thanks. Raise your hand and seek help when needed on this. Great.